creates offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goal in the back of the net.
It's been a half-decade of dominance in the conference from this golf team, Thomas. You have them in the C tier. What are we doing?
I'm
4 out of the last
expecting a
5 years they've won the
championship at this
championship.
Talk about the present stuff. And, well, actually, I'm going to talk about the past right now.
At least if you're gonna pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
I don't know if anyone knew. She just got a Barbie. And to me, if you get a Barbie, that means you've made it in life. So, I mean, Alona Mari.
Are you ready for some debate? Because Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Hello all and welcome to Bobcat Breakdown's almost spring break special here in Quinnipiac's venerable Studio 125. I'm Jack Beyer, and this week I'm joined by analysts Ben Rickevicius and Thomas Curtis. Tonight we're talking MAAC tournaments and basketball with some hockey at the end. Guys, how are we feeling on this almost spring night?
Yeah, I'm excited. Playoffs are here. This is the best time of year for Quinnipiac sports, and nobody I'd rather be on desk with. We shared a beat staff for the entire year. I'm excited for us to go back and forth a little bit tonight.
I'm excited to finish up the season.
Yeah.
Ben in Atlantic City here in a minute.
And now, the debate. Next week, the men's and women's basketball teams head to Atlantic City for the MAAC championship. The Bobcats will face some tough competition down the stretch in Jersey, such as first place MAAC, along with many other teams. Quinnipiac has special players on both teams, leading to our debate. Who do you guys think will be the X factor for a run in Atlantic City? Ben, we'll start with you.
We want to start with the men's side here. I think my take might surprise you a little bit, but I hope you'll like it. Grant Randall is my X factor for Quinnipiac. He's averaging just under 11 points per game, 6.5 rebounds this season, shooting just under 30% from three. But the big thing for him has been defensively and his impact down the stretch of games. I mean, that Fairfield game on the road, he had 4 blocks at the end of that one to help the Bobcats squeak out that win. And in a stretch where they've been without Jaden Zimmerman and missing his scoring a lot, and even when he's been back, he's struggled a lot from the field. Randall has stepped up. And I look at matchup-based wise. If Quinnipiac meets up with MAAC in the semifinals, Randall is perfect to stop that MAAC zone. You got to find openings, and if he knocks down his shot,
he's
watch
big.
out.
He's so switchable. It's great to have him that when he's on defensively, he guards 1 through 5. I think you mentioned the X factor for me, though. Jaden Zimmerman. I also have Asim Jones here. It's just the backcourt for Quinnipiac. Asim Jones, 18.3 points per game in his last 5, excluding that game against MAAC. But Jaden Zimmerman really has struggled from the field, 22% from 3, 8 for 36 in his last 5. And he's one of those guys that they depend on to shoot the 3 ball. So for me, on the men's side, it's the backcourt. Can they be efficient? Can they take care of the ball? And they're going to need to score because you got to put up points in Atlantic City.
Yeah, the thing is, Zimmerman, I don't know if he's the X factor for me because when they were without him, they were playing better basketball, you could argue. And I mean, I think really the big thing for me is, can Randall get going and provide scoring for Quinnipiac? But let's talk about women's now. You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I've got Ella Ryan. I think Ella Ryan has a really good shot to solidify herself as one of the top freshmen in this conference. She's going to space the floor. We know that. She shoots 41%. But in the tournament, it's going to be her taking on a bigger ball handling responsibility and setting up Ella O'Donnell and Anna Foley. It's going to be Ella Ryan for me just because they need another ball handler to step up, and I think it's going to be her in Atlantic City.
Yeah, Ryan's not a bad take, but I went with the captain here. I think you need your captain to be at her best. And Jackie Grisdale has been heating up towards the end of the season. And really the big thing for me with her is her defense, especially on the perimeter. On the women's side of the bracket, for me, we'll get into this more later, I'm sure, but it's Quinnipiac or it's Fairfield.
Sure.
And Fairfield, the strength of their play is the three-point line. And if Grisdale can get in passing lanes, make things uncomfortable for Katie Lamro, I think then that really transforms that game because Ryan will make or miss shots, but really I think what's going to make this game close is can Quinnipiac's defense hang with Fairfield's offense?
She completely changed the game, Lamro did, because she was playing so well on Grisdale. So I agree with the X factor there. I just think her, O'Donnell, and Foley are key to their success anyways, and Ella Ryan with the chance to really step up and show.
Keeping with the hardwood theme, the women's team has had an incredible run this year. 24-5 on the year and an absolute blowout of Canisius last Saturday. Just an overall powerhouse of a team. And on the other hand, the men's basketball team, while 19-12 on the year and still 4th in the MAAC, have had their share of struggles throughout the year. Which brings us to the question, which of the scenarios do you guys think is more likely? The men's basketball team making the championship or the women's basketball team missing it? Thomas, we'll start with you.
Yeah, for me, I think it's pretty easy. I think it's more likely that the men's team makes it than the women's team misses this championship game. The MAAC for me, and really for everybody since 2024, has been a two-horse race. It's been Quinnipiac and Fairfield, and none of these other teams even really have a shot until this championship game happens. And the men's team, they do have a chance. There's a path here if Merrimack loses or if they get an ugly game against Merrimack to make it to the championship. I just think there's a better chance for the men's team.
Thomas, I'm going to save everybody a time. We agree here. I think
didn't think
Quinnipiac, the men's team making the championship, way more likely than Quinnipiac women's missing it. I mean, the women's team, Fairfield, Quinnipiac, it's pretty much set. You don't have to ask me anymore.
Why are they even playing these games?
It's a great question. But honestly, I'd rather talk to you about Merrimack and Quinnipiac potentially playing in the semis because, I mean, Quinnipiac at home loses by only 6 to 8 points to Merrimack. And the big thing was they shot 1 for 16 from 3, but they still kept that game close. So I don't understand why a lot of people are saying, especially on MAAC Twitter, you know how crazy they go there, that Merrimack would just wipe the floor with Quinnipiac, especially defensively. I mean, defense travels when we get to playoff time, and I think Quinnipiac's defense can hold with Merrimack.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and we're right on the same page on this topic.
Now, that was some exquisite debate, fellas, but unfortunately, we must head into our first commercial break of the night. Stay tuned for our next segment, where our analysts give their over-unders for the MAAC tournament, coming up right after this.
Buckle up! Nobody is more prepared for an emergency than Dogman.
With all your kung fu skills and your K9 fortitude or whatnot.
But for the rest of us, a good plan goes a long way.
Come on, let's go!
So, whether it's an unexpected disaster or the world's most evilest cat bent on destroying all do-gooders,
Destroy all do-gooders!
you can help your family be ready for anything.
No time to waste. Will you get out of here?
Get started today at ready.gov/kids.
Left for Vidicek. Vidicek walking in. Shot. Save made. Rebound. Score!
Did you miss this goal last night? No worries. We got you covered.
Antonin Varel gets the puck to Ethan Winbach in front of the net. He puts it past Alvin Breya.
Every team, every game.
She shoots it blocker side into the net.
All the news, highlights, and more.
First year connection. Ty Turner to Keith McKnight.
This is Sports Pause, Monday nights at 9:30, only on Q30 Television.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown, where our analysts will play a little game. Various stats or statements will be shown that relate to the upcoming MAAC tournament. Our analysts will determine whether they hold, meaning they think the statement will come to fruition, or fold, disagreeing with that claim. Let's get right into it. Our first is on the men's side. Will someone average over 20 points during the men's tournament? Ben, do you have the over?
Yeah, I'm going to hold here. I think someone will end up finishing the tournament averaging more than 20 points per game. I mean, hey, the cheeky way it could happen is one game is played, Quinnipiac plays, Amari scores 21 points, and they get eliminated. There you go, 20 points. But honestly, I think there's some guys in this tournament, Gavin Doty, Anquan Hill, Kavere Kennedy, I mean, just to name a few, that could give you 20 points over across a few games. I mean, their scoring has just been that strong for their teams this year.
I think the Kavere Kennedy argument is weird. I'm going to fold. I'm going to throw my cards in on this one because I think a lot of these teams are looking to slow it down, and the top teams want to play defense. Merrimack, the top team in this bracket, 348th in the nation in tempo. We saw it at the bank. They only scored 49 points. This team only wants to slow it down, get back into their 1-3 zone, and I don't think they want Kennedy to put up a bunch of shots. They want him to get dribble drives and kick it out to both Andres Marrero and Ernest Shelton, who are two of the top 15 three-point shooters in this conference.
I think my argument is there's some teams that are going to try to speed these teams up. If you look at Sacred Heart, I mean, they just want to play go, go, go. And Quinnipiac should want to play go, go, go in transition.
Do you think Sacred Heart can... They're the 9th seed. Do you think they can come in and dictate?
In my bracket, I have Iona beating them, but I could see a universe where they end up winning. And, I mean, when you get a team on a run like Sacred Heart with three-pointers and they're getting stops and pushing quick, it's hard to slow that down and get and control the pace.
Switching to the other side, will Quinnipiac women's basketball have the most members for the all-championship team? Thomas, you're on the clock.
I'm, again, going to throw my cards in on this one. I only play the cards that I really, really like, Ben.
Man, you're not fun.
I see Fairfield winning this championship. I didn't make a bracket because we're on the men's basketball staff, but if I did, I'd have Fairfield, and I hope nobody comes for me here. They've got 3 players, at least, or 2 players that are guaranteed to be on it anyways, Lamro and Megan Anderson. And then with Jill Herter, who shoots 42% from 3, if you see 1 or 2 games where she gets really hot, she's going to make that team. Cheyenne Coe, 6 rebounds a game if she gets active on the boards. I see Fairfield winning this tournament, so I've got them taking the 3 players.
Thomas,
team.
I'm folding as well here. We agree. I think all those points you mentioned are great. I think Quinnipiac, maybe 1 or 2 players will finish on that all-conference, all-MAAC team. Tournament-wise, I think you see Jackie Grizzell or maybe Ella O'Donnell landing there. But like you mentioned, Katie Lamro, Megan Anderson are locks. Regardless of if they lose in that championship game, they're going to put up the numbers to warrant that. I mean, look at a player like Sydney Scott on Fairfield. If she does what she did against
Quinnipiac when they were here.
Exactly. If she does what she did to them in the tournament last year, where she hit 6 3-pointers to help them win that game, I mean, she could earn herself a berth on that roster right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Going back to the men's team, do you think that Fairfield's Brandon Benjamin will record a double-double during the tournament? Ben, you start us off.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. He averages 10 rebounds a game. He's at 14 double-doubles in 29 games this season. And he had a streak in the middle of the season of 9 games where he had 10-plus points in every single game. Benjamin is going to get his touches, and, I mean, he can rebound, too.
You know, I hate agreeing with you 3 times in a row, but I have to. Like you said, with the 14 double-doubles in 29 games, just mathematically, I have Fairfield going to the championship. That means they're going to play 4 games.
It's pretty bold.
I mean, I'm looking at, if they play 4 games, he's going to get 2 double-doubles. Against teams that he could potentially play. They play Manhattan in the first round. He had 11 points and 15 rebounds, double-double there. He averaged 17.5 points and 10 rebounds against St. Peter's, which they would face in the next round. So if they even play 2 games, mathematically, I think it has to happen.
And Thomas, Manhattan's bigs don't scare me that much. And if they're going to win 1 game, Benjamin's going to have a double-double. It's just a lock.
Yes.
Changing course back to women's basketball once again, will Merrimack's Madison Roman have the most rebounds? Thomas, you've got first call.
Yeah, she had 55 more rebounds than anybody else in conference play in the MAAC. She averaged 16 rebounds per game against number 6 Mount St. Mary's, who they play in the first round. 12.2 in 5 games against potential semifinal matchups. So if they play enough games, I think she's guaranteed to take the rebounding crown. And even if she plays 2 games, she's going to be at least top 2 or 3.
I agree with top 2 or 3, but Thomas, I'm going to take a card out of your book here. I'm going to fold. Because I think that eventually the players on Quinnipiac and Fairfield's team will get more rebounds over that extra 3rd game in the championship. I mean, look at players like Ella O'Donnell and Anna Foley. I mean, they're averaging about 5 per game this season, and while that might not sound like a lot to Romans leading the conference, I think when you're in the tournament and in that setting, especially Merrimack, probably going to get out-rebounded in one of those games if they end up losing. Right. So I think at the end of the day, I would take someone on Quinnipiac, maybe Ella O'Donnell or Anna Foley. I could even see Katie Lamro maybe getting into that top 3. She is pretty good for rebounding as a guard, Thomas.
She's a good rebounding guard, but Madison Roman, like I said, led the conference. If they get any...
Just the regular season, though.
They're going to
win 3 games.
Sure.
3 games,
Sure. If
max.
they're going to win that first-round matchup and then play well against Fairfield, which I think Merrimack has a good chance to do. I'm blanking on the score when they played in the regular season, but they're the 3 seed for a reason. I think Madison Roman has a good chance to go over. That's why I'm holding here.
We'll see.
Bit of a different hypothetical here. Only one of the top 3 teams in the MAAC will make the championship. Ben, do you agree?
All right, TC, let's talk history. So we know that the MAAC conference in general, not famous for 1 seeds winning the playoffs every year. I mean, last time it happened 2022 with Iona and Rick Pitino's squad. That team was just, otherworldly. But if you look down the list of MAAC champions, I mean, number 6 Mount last year, number 5 St. Peter's, and I think the path this year is really hard for number 2 St. Peter's. They're on a course to get Siena potentially 2, and they're banged up as well. I don't see it happening. I'm going to fold here.
Yeah, I hate agreeing, but I got to hold as well. I've got to ride with Fairfield. I'd look stupid if I said no to this question because I have Fairfield in the championship. This team has been just so hot these last 10. They're 7-3. Benjamin coming back from injury when that occurred against Quinnipiac, but he looked good last weekend. And they've got all the guard scoring in the world. and they're experienced as well. I've got them going to the championship.
Thomas, this might be outrageous, but I could see a world where we don't see any of the top three in the championship game.
Quinnipiac takes on Merrimack and gets into a really ugly game, scrapes it out. We could see none of these top 2 seeds.
And now for the final question. Will a team not named Quinnipiac or Fairfield make the women's championship? Thomas, who do you got?
I can't believe we're even talking about this. This is a 2-team race in the MAAC. It's really just a 2-team conference because these 2 teams have been so far and above the rest of the conference. So I got to fold on this question.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. This is the easiest fold of my life, Thomas. And I think the big thing we haven't talked about is the coaching, because you can have talented teams, but when you have talented teams with a talented, experienced coach that has won multiple championships, falling short to teams that aren't up to par of their play, just not going to happen.
It's just the rest are playing for third in this tournament for me. I'll be completely surprised if we see.
All right, Thomas, I'll spring this one on you. Do you think that either of these 2 teams play a close game before they play each other in the championship?
No, I don't see it happening. Look at all the.
I agree with you.
We just keep doing it.
Yeah, we keep agreeing.
If you look at all these game logs, you keep going back, there's not a 20-point game between the 2 of them. Their average margin of victory is 17 plus for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, the last time Quinnipiac played in a close conference game was weeks ago against Marist. They won by 8 points, and even in that one, I mean...
The score made that one closer than it actually was.
Yep,
right.
Yep.
Now, that was some riveting debate, guys, but unfortunately, we have to cut to our second commercial break of the night. Stay tuned for QBSN's commentary on the ECAC hockey playoffs. We will be right back.
The go-to Quinnipiac news source for students by students. We've got the latest on campus news, student life, and stories all around the country. Get to know your local community with features on Hamden businesses and politics. Everything you need to know, all in 30 minutes. Wednesdays at 9:30, reporting for the Quinnipiac community.
I'm Melissa Sheehan. I'm Sophia DeBona.
I'm Maury Smith.
I'm Christina Tsimenis. I'm Riley Farrell.
I'm Andrew Allison.
I'm Miranda Patorti.
We are the Q30 Newscast.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Hello and welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. If you are just joining us, I'm Jack Beyer and I'm joined by our wonderful analysts Ben Rickevicius and Thomas Curtis. The women's ice hockey team took on Brown in the ECAC quarterfinal round. QBSN is here to recap the action.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside M&T Bank Arena. It is officially playoff time for the ECAC in women's ice hockey. Back Jarvis, 2-on-1 for the Bobcats. LaMarche, toe drag, backhand shot. She scores! Kaylin LaMarche, 36th goal of the season. It's 1-0 Bobcats. It's grabbed by Richards. Richards stretch past Lyons. Lyons in, pass, and they score! Who else? Jada Ginlaw.
Almost cleared his zone, but Fournette picks it. Fournette, LaMarche wide open, she scores! Fournette underneath for Kaylin LaMarche. 38 goals and counting on the season, and she ties this game on the one-timer. It's all knotted up here in Hamden. Potter tried to play it up, now it's a 2-on-1. Brazen McDaddy into the middle, shot taken by Moralt, they score! The walk-off winner, Margot Norhad, wins it for Brown, and there will be a Game 3 tomorrow in Hamden.
You can feel the tension in the air. Winner takes all. Winner goes to Lake Placid. Loser goes home with absolutely nothing. The stakes could not be higher. Ooh, drop it off for Emerson Jarvis. Jarvis comes in, dinks around. Zukoska makes the save, but it goes in. Emerson Jarvis scores! The Ohio State transfer gives Quinnipiac a 1-0 lead 30 seconds in. On to it, Brown hurries. Gratzel with speed. Gratzel cuts inside, but doesn't get by the two defenders that Quinnipiac sets in her way. Gratzel, the saucer pass. Fantino backdoor. Sam Bruce scores. Brown cuts the deficit back to 1 as Sam Bruce gets a beautiful backdoor pass from Olivia Fantino. They've been through a lot of heartbreak, a lot of drama. Everything has led up to this moment. And for the first time ever, Quinnipiac is headed to Lake Placid in the women's ice hockey program.
Thanks, QBSN. Now let's put on some skates and talk about playoff hockey. Quinnipiac women's hockey travels up to Lake Placid to try and claim their second ever ECAC title. They finished 26-8-3, which was good for third in the conference, behind only Princeton and Yale, which leads us to our debate. Guys, how do you think the women's hockey playoffs will shake out? Ben, we'll have you go first.
All right, Thomas. Quinnipiac, Yale in the championship game. I'm going to drop a quote on you. It's a guy you know. It's hard to beat a good team 3 times. You know who said that? Brady Mullen said that the other night. Well, I have Yale and their experience beating Quinnipiac in the championship game. They have 2 players who have 45 points on the season, but the big thing for me is their defense. Corena D'Antonio and Alyssa Biderman were great, and especially in net, they've had good goaltending all around. I think the big thing for them, though, like I said, experience, defense. And when you get in those close games, I think I'm going to give the edge to experience.
Yale might have experience, Yale might have defense, but you know who they don't have? It's Kaylin LaMarche. This team is playing hot hockey. Friday night, they pick up a win against Brown, then Sunday, Saturday.
What happened on Saturday?
Shaky Sunday, they pull it through. Cass Turner has this team playing really good hockey, and I'm kind of biased towards things I see in person. I went Friday night. Yeah. Great game. I'd like to call it the student section because it was just completely weak.
Oh, it was terrible.
That was terrible.
It was brutal.
I've got Quinnipiac winning this game over Yale just because of Kaylin LaMarche.
See, I think that Yale's defense is so good that they can stop LaMarche. That's the thing. I think that they played, even though Quinnipiac, yes, beat them and looked good against them the first 2 times, I think that the more you see Yale's kind of defensive lines coming together, especially in this playoff run, I mean, they handled Union easy this past weekend. For me, I think Yale, I think their path is good too.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
I just don't, I didn't want any of the criticism by taking Yale because it just feels unnecessary.
Yeah, it feels weird as a Quinnipiac student, but you got to do it.
You're almost done.
You got to do it.
Now that was some incredible debate, guys, but let's switch things up a little bit. The men's ice hockey team is also heading up to Lake Placid to try and claim their second ECAC championship. They have the scoring power with players like freshman phenom Ethan Wittenbach. However, they have had problems with their goalkeepers. Now, Coach Pecknold has a choice between junior Matej Marinov and junior Dylan Silverstein. Who do you think should get the starting nod?
Yeah, Matej Marinov wasn't in net for a 6-1 loss against Cornell, so I'm going to trust him because he hasn't had a blow-up game like Silverstein did a couple weekends ago.
I got to disagree with you here. It's a shame, Thomas. We can't talk about it too long, but Silverstein is my guy right now. Marinov letting up 7 goals against Dartmouth recently. I can't have him in net right now. I think Silverstein, if you look at the numbers, the save percentage and goals allowed, it's much better.
It's just not enough experience. He's only had 2 games against ranked teams, and one was the loss
to Cornell. 13 games. That's enough to see.
It was 27 games for Marinov. I'm rolling with him.
Now, that's all the debate we have in store tonight, but don't go anywhere, as when we return, we will be giving our final roars. Stay tuned.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It's time for our final roars, and I'll start us off. As a huge sports fan, one of my favorite parts of the sports world is jersey collecting. Being able to represent your favorite player is an awesome experience. Personally, I own many different jerseys, from my Kodai Senga Mets jersey, my Tim Tebow Jets jersey, and not to mention my collection of NASCAR racing jackets. To me, jerseys are a personal connection to not only the player and the team, but also to other fans. I've had so many conversations with great people because of jerseys. It's a great time, but there is a problem. Recently, fans of all different sports have been outraged by jersey manufacturers and distributors for a variety of reasons. Issues like the screen-printed numbers falling off easily and egregious pricing are just some of the grievances fans have. Availability of special edition jerseys such as USA Olympic, World Baseball Classic, and Super Bowl have also come under heavy criticism because of their lack of availability. It's a shame that something that fans hold so near and dear to their hearts has now become sort of a war. Even here at Quinnipiac, you don't really see specific player jerseys. You know how cool it would be to buy an Ethan Wittenbach or a Mari Monroe jersey? Quinnipiac sports fans should have a chance to support their fellow peers on the field, hardwood, or ice. It's a shame that jerseys have come under so much scrutiny because sports fandom should not be this complicated.
2 straight regular season championships, 2 straight Conference Player of the Year winners, numerous all-conference team nominations. And as Amari Monroe put it, the Bobcats have done everything there is to do in this beautiful conference we call the MAAC, despite one thing, a championship trophy. Now, no longer the favorite, with expectations the lowest they've been during Monroe's time in Hamden, nobody's picking the streaky Bobcats to win 3 games in a row, especially in their own personal house of horrors that is Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Matt Belanc, Savion Lewis, and Paul Otieno aren't getting off that bus in New Jersey Thursday night, and if they were able to pull this off and earn a bid to the national tournament, something Quinnipiac has never done in program history, with him at the center of it all, Monroe would put himself in his own tier above all players that called Lender Court home before him, and the debate for Quinnipiac men's basketball GOAT would be settled.
Relationships are at the heart of good journalism. Being able to earn and give trust when working with athletes and coaches is what can make or break a story. When the time comes to ask a hard question, a coach or athlete might be more likely to give you an honest and respectful answer if it's phrased right and if you have a good rapport with them. But how do you develop that? Well, it certainly doesn't come overnight. It starts with being around. As simple as it may sound, being a familiar face at games, whether it's at road games or attending a practice, being present gives people a sense of comfort around you. It also never hurts to professionally introduce yourself in the right setting. Putting a name to a face and telling an athlete or coach the kind of work you do covering the team can help them become more familiar with you. With this comes the challenge of balancing the professional side of a relationship and the personal side. It's important that you, the journalist, establish that line well because at the end of the day, both you and the athlete have jobs to do. You never know where you might run into an athlete or coach in the future or how they could help you in the future. Over the years, I've gone to athletes that I've covered in the past to see if they could help on a follow-up story. And because of the relationships that I built with them in the past, they were willing to help. There's no one way to build a relationship with someone. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to be able to say, hey, I know John Smith on the hockey team. It's to tell stories. At the end of the day, journalism is a human business, and making those human connections with the athletes and coaches you cover can enhance your storytelling tenfold.
That's all the time we have tonight for Bobcat Breakdown. Thank you for watching, and we will be back here on March 17th for a special St. Patrick's Day episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and X at Q30 Sports and check out our website at Q30TV.com. As always, thank you to the producers and everyone working very hard behind the scenes. For Ben Rickevicius and Thomas Curtis, I'm Jack Beyer. Have an amazing evening and a great spring break, Bobcats.